In Mumbai this year, we have yo-yoed between praying for the monsoon so that we get water and relief from the killing heat to now praying to be rescued from this overwhelming deluge. In just 4 days of July, Mumbai has received an entire month's worth of rainfall. There has been loss of life. Over 10 people, including school children, have been killed in this monsoon. Trees all over the city, more than 350 trees in Mumbai alone have been uprooted. That number may even be 500. Now, on a daily basis in Mumbai, we are used to governance lapses. Life is not easy if you're a Mumbaikar. But come monsoon time, all these governance lapses are seen in glaring relief. Monsoon 2026, this year's monsoon, is also showing our authorities as being willfully blind to the impacts of climate change and the unpredictable weather patterns that are now the new norm. I'm going to talk about all of this with Rajya Sabha MP, passionate Mumbaikar, Milind Deora, whose party, the Shiv Sena, is in the coalition government, an integral part of the coalition government that runs Mumbai, Maharashtra, and India. So he should have some answers. Milind, thank you for talking to me.
Thank you so much for having me.
In April, you were in Parliament and you spoke about the need to empower Indian cities for sustainable growth and effective governance, right?
Yes.
And that is something that you have also been talking about quite periodically and regularly since then. Monsoon 2026, how would you evaluate what this shows up of what cities lack, given where you're coming from?
So there are many aspects to it. One is a local issue with regards to Mumbai, with regards to Mumbai's governance. One is certainly the issue that I raised in the Parliament of India, which pertains to Indian cities, tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 cities. As far as Mumbai is concerned, as far as the BMC is concerned, there has been a change in leadership after almost 30 years. I'm hopeful that things will improve. The BMC has demonstrated that if there is political will, if there is the right kind of leadership at a bureaucratic level, at a political level, you can see good infrastructure projects come on stream. And there are some examples for that. A project that I fought for during my first term as an MP in 2004 was a project called Brimstone, which is the Brihan Mumbai Stormwater Drain Project, which basically will reduce the flooding during monsoons. We've seen a lot of flooding has come down. There were typical spots that you would see which would get flooded. You don't see those getting flooded. But the fact is that climate change is a reality. It wasn't a reality 20 years ago.
And which is why we have these exceptional weather
so
patterns,
today, in fact, recently I was talking to somebody in the Met department, and it's now very clear that in India, the monsoon, just like summers have changed around the world, you see heat waves in Europe. Now in India, the southwesterlies have become extremely erratic. So you will have a month when it's supposed to start raining, where you won't have any rains, which is what you had in a city like Mumbai. And then suddenly you receive 80% of your rainfall for the monsoon within a period of 4 days. What that really means is you have the intensity of rainfall is far more severe. So that means you have to plan for that. Now you have to augment that. Secondly, the reality is that we still have not got our act together in terms of how we dispose of garbage. We still have, sadly, civic sense is very, very poor in our city. I'm a strong believer that the only way to instill civic sense in all of us is to find the hell out of us. I've seen that there is a huge gap in the way we litter our city. And then the minute we travel to another foreign destination, we suddenly behave very well. And that garbage contributes massively to flooding because garbage blocks the drains. And then as a result of that, So that's one aspect with regards to Mumbai. Mumbai, the BMC also has done surprisingly well in implementing, let's say, a project like the Coastal Road, which otherwise would come under the ambit of the state government, the Maharashtra State Transport Corporation. BMC implemented the Coastal Road project. The coastal gardens now will happen along with the Mahalakshmi race course. You'll have about 300 acres. So the BMC has the capability, it has the know-how, it has the resources. It lacks will, at a bureaucratic political level. I'm hopeful that will happen.
In 2026, what do you think these 4 or 5 days of the month of July have exposed? Because in order to implement solutions, you've got to acknowledge what the problems are.
I think going forward, I don't think we can continue to say that climate change is upon us. And
it is upon us.
And because of that, the intensity is going to be high. We have to accept that.
Yeah.
And we have to plan according to climate change. Despite who was in power for the last 25 years, there have been some good things that have happened with the state government and the BMC. I'll give you an example. Another reason why you had flooding was just indiscriminate redevelopment. Today you have a cluster redevelopment project which ensures that you plan for a cluster, not an individual building or an individual slum that gets redeveloped. You plan for an entire area. That allows you to plan for infrastructure, you build better stormwater drains. So we have to improve our planning infrastructure. We have to improve our stormwater drainage network to deal with the high intensity that climate change will bring upon us year after year. I'm a firm believer that when it comes to the monsoons, big reason for flooding is also because of garbage, and for that we have to instill civic sense in a very strong way. But in terms of simple things, now for instance, manholes, which is a completely preventable way of, the fact that people are dying of falling into manholes. Today, almost 90% of Mumbai's manholes have protective grills under them, so that if there's flooding and that manhole is choked, you won't fall in that manhole. If that lid is open for any reason, you will not fall. There's a protective grill. Why are 10% of those manholes, why are they don't have protective grills? Good thing is heads rolled. Immediately the officers were suspended. The contractor was blacklisted. My personal opinion is, just like I said, we need to be more harsh on those who litter. We have to be more harsh on contractors.
Criminal cases?
150%. You have to, if there's a contractor, for instance, whose job it was to put a protective manhole, why has the manhole not been installed before the monsoons? Criminal case. Case of criminal negligence. If that person was leaving the manhole cover open, somebody's fallen in, 100% the person should be arrested. Should be a case of culpable homicide, not just of negligence. And blacklisting is not enough. So until we become harsher, and the punishments are more severe, for even myself as a citizen, you will not see
So the
change.
citizen, the bureaucrat, and the political class.
And the political class and the contractors,
but
everyone
Milind,
has...
what to me seems to be what I will remember as Monsoon 2026 is the collapse of trees, right? We have the Chief Minister in the Assembly say that on one day more than 300 trees were uprooted in Mumbai, and overall in these last few days about 500 trees have been uprooted, broken, etc. We've had a 10-11-year-old young child killed in his school bus. So trees and what has happened is being linked very categorically with the kind of misplanning, wrong planning that this city and its administration has undertaken. We have lost green cover. We are fighting for mangroves now. And all of this is being sacrificed to development projects and to big infrastructure projects. Where is the balance? Because your government, and you talk about 20 years, but from 2019 onwards, and even before, our Deputy Chief Minister, the leader of your party, Mr. Eknath Shinde, has been in charge of urban development from 2019 onwards as Chief Minister, and then as Deputy Chief Minister. And before that, of course, he was in the Sena, which ran the corporation here. So I'm not going to go into political blame gaming. That's not going to help. Let's focus on trees and give me your perspective, Milind, on what this is a big problem.
Yeah. Look, see, balancing the environment with development is a classic issue that plagues not just Mumbai, it plagues India, it plagues countries around the world. Again, how do you plan for development that ensures, now for example, the biggest reason of what's called development is transportation networks. So for example, the metro, that can lead to tree cutting, that can lead to dust, which causes pollution during the winter months.
We saw the AQI, but we've never had that problem in Mumbai earlier.
But do you say we should not have public infrastructure projects? No, I'm not in favor of that. You have to have public infrastructure projects. Are there ways to mitigate that? So for instance, now the coastal road, where you've reclaimed land to build the coastal road. So now the coastal road will have about 170 acres where you'll have a coastal road forest, where right now you see just concrete and reclaimed land. that will be a
I've
lush green
worked on that,
space.
yeah.
That coupled with the Mahalakshmi race course, which has again been going to be thrown open to the public, when connected, will be almost 300 acres of open space. The vision is to have a central park and a contiguous park. So 300 acres will not be seen anywhere in the world. You won't see it in New York City, you won't see it in San Francisco, you won't see it in London. Now, for example, when it comes to dust, I'm moving away from the monsoons. Now, there are mitigation measures already in place. The problem sometimes is in the enforcement.
Between mangroves, which are seen as a natural, buffer for when you have flood water, and the fact that we are losing green cover because of whether it's public infrastructure or even builders, right? In fact, you must have seen the Hindustan Times reportage, which talked about the maintenance of trees and this contract being given to companies that are run by builders, people who don't have the expertise. It's quite an interesting report. I'll send it to you. It says very categorically that I can just read that out to you so that you know. Data accessed by the Hindustan Times has revealed that BMC awarded contracts worth 42.24 crore rupees to remove, prune, dead and dangerous trees across 23 municipal wards from May 2026 to 27 May. To construction and infrastructure contractors not known for specialized arboriculture or urban forestry. While the estimated costs of tenders was 76.82 crore rupees, they were awarded at an average of 45% below. Now, this is how the BMC operates.
I'm not aware, but I would say...
No, sure, and this is not at your door, Milind.
To me, I would not... if you ask me prima facie for my reaction, I don't think a developer should be entrusted with maintaining tree cover.
Yeah.
But again, the larger debate on terms of trees and the environment is how do you balance redevelopment with the environment? So with infrastructure, not just the environment. And there are some wins, there are some losses. An area which I'm very passionate about, which I've seen in my 20 years of politics, where you see individual buildings get redeveloped. And you suddenly see a 5-story chawl suddenly become a 30-story building. That increases the number of people living there. It increases the traffic. It puts a strain on the infrastructure. It could lead to cutting down of trees. It puts pressure on our sewage system, on our water supply system. The cluster redevelopment is a very good project for that. That's how it's done around the world. In the Western countries, they call it a block-wise urban regeneration program. We call it the cluster redevelopment program, where you take an entire area and then you plan for it. And that has allowed, today for example in South Mumbai, Kamathipura is being redeveloped under the cluster redevelopment scheme. What will happen is you'll have better arterial roads, you will give the planners the ability to plan for better sewage systems, for better infrastructure, for better green cover, you'll have a green park, you'll have all the amenities you need. So those are good things that I'm encouraged by. But yes, are there things that are happening that I'm not too happy with? Absolutely.
How does one address that? Because, the vision is there, right?
See, I'll tell you that the reality is this.
So,
there's a lot of pressure from the people to also move towards redevelopment.
That's true.
Now, if I'm somebody who's living in a slum and I'm living in a dilapidated chawl, I'm what's called a
or an old building,
an old building. I'm a tenant. I have a right for my building or my slum to be redeveloped. It's not fair for someone to say that I've got a home, I can afford to have a home, and therefore I think redevelopment should stop. So you have to balance these two things.
I don't think that's the issue. I think what's happening is that in that redevelopment, and that is done with builders getting their share to sell, right? In excess,
it's a public-private partnership,
Yeah. So what's happening there is that, you know this. We are in A ward, right? Churchgate, in A ward. Buildings are here, then you have a compound, and then you have the road. Today, there is no compound within the building. People are taking everything that's available to build on. When I say people, I mean the builders who are doing these development projects. Trees are a casualty. You talked about the Mahalakshmi race course. And, earlier this year, not once but twice, a group of architects and eminent citizens, all Mumbaikars, passionate Mumbaikars, actually wrote to the government saying that this is a bad idea. Okay. And again, one of the things they said was, Natural ground absorbs rainwater, allows groundwater recharge, and reduces flood risk in the surrounding areas. These are not incidental benefits; they are critical urban
I'll
infrastructure
tell you where
functions.
I disagree a little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Because
Is that I know some of the architects.
Huh.
Some of them are people I know personally.
Of course. Yeah.
And some of those architects wrote to me almost, one of them about 15 years ago when the metro was being built and said, we don't need a Mumbai metro. I don't agree with that.
Sure.
There is also a lobby of people who would just prefer that there's no development. And there's some people who said don't build the Atal Setu. There's some people who said don't do the Navi Mumbai airport.
I think people said build the Atal Setu but with a train connection. I think
no, there are some people who said you should not have
let's have buses.
No, you should not have a bridge going over the creek, over the harbour. There are some who said don't have the Navi Mumbai airport. You don't need the Navi Mumbai airport. So I'm a passionate environmentalist. I don't believe there's any difference between. I tell my daughter this. I don't think there's anything different between the environment and you. You are the environment.
Exactly.
You are a product of the environment. You're spawned from the environment. But you are living in a city which is bursting at the seams, and you are living in a city which has to house people, has to create affordable housing, has to create efficient public transportation infrastructure for those who use public transportation, not for those who use cars. They have to be able to commute effectively in a clean environment, and you have to balance these things. Again, am I fully satisfied that we are doing justice to the environment as a city? And I don't blame any particular government or any town planner. As a city in the last 20 years, am I satisfied? No, I'm not. As a city, we need to focus more on the environment.
I mean, we've lost 500 trees in the span of a week.
we need to do more. Are there mitigation measures in place where we are trying to do that? Yes, there are. But this, sadly, is the reality of most large cities. Now I want to zoom out. The solution to reduce pressure on cities like Mumbai, which ultimately have a hazardous impact on your environment, they have a hazardous impact sometimes on air quality, they have a hazardous impact, frankly, on quality of life.
Absolutely.
For an average Mumbaikar. And this is true of Mumbai, this is true of New York City, this is true of any other city in the world, is to decongest cities. So, for example, why was I in favor, despite many people saying don't have the Atal Setu? Because I was convinced that if you connect Mumbai to the hinterland, you open up the Mumbai pie, the MMR pie, you will automatically see a decongestion.
New Bombay and Vashi was created.
It was, but New Mumbai didn't work in the way it should have. But that's how you decongest cities. So that is one way we need to decongest a city like Mumbai. Make the MMR pie much larger, which is being planned today. Today, the third Mumbai that's being envisioned. For example, there's a third airport being planned in Palghar area. Palghar will have the country's largest port. When you look at Palghar in the north, you look at Kalyan, Dombivli in the east, you look at even some part of Uran and the hinterland connected with the Atal Setu. You'll have a metro connectivity between the Mumbai airport to the Navi Mumbai airport. You will see a very different Mumbai. To me, it will resemble something like the Bay Area and the US, where you have Oakland in the east, you have San Francisco down south, you have Silicon Valley further south, you have Marin County further north. And that's how you decongest a city. So then somebody can live in less expensive real estate, let's say in Uran, but yet commute very quickly to South Mumbai to work. And you're not forcing somebody to live in a slum. You're also reducing the strain on the environment. You don't need to have a project that's cutting into mangroves and reclaiming land to build a public transportation infrastructure project. So that's the way you need to think of cities.
But do you think at this point of time,
I think if you don't, I think
that the trade-off that we are making for
I think very clearly about cities
and infrastructure.
I think very clearly about cities, and as someone who's lived in Mumbai.
Yeah, of course.
If we do not fix the long-term problem for Mumbai and for cities, you will have a recurring problem of monsoons, of floods, of all the other problems you see in Mumbai city.
And very poor quality of life, isn't it?
And sadly, I don't think our eye is on the long-term ball. And we're constantly, what do we do now? What do we do here? What do we do with flooding? So, as I spoke in Parliament, that in the Parliament of India, in its wisdom, in 1993, amended the Constitution for the 74th time, what's called the 74th Constitutional Amendment. and that calls for devolution of powers. It allows constitutionally for a devolution of powers to local municipalities and local bodies. Sadly, there is no state in the country, regardless of which party is governing it, whether you're from the opposition ruled parties, you're from the NDA ruled party. But there is no state which has devolved powers meaningfully.
Let's focus on Maharashtra, because that's where we are, and that's where your party is. Now, from 2022 onwards, we did not have municipal corporation elections for some reason or the other. We had them in 2026. And we have 29 municipal corporations in Maharashtra, and across board, these corporations have been hollowed out in the sense, and this is exact, in practice, it is absolutely the opposite of what you feel is ideal to run big cities and India in the future, which is that instead of devolving power or the devolution of powers, it has become centralized, right? Whether, I mean, in those years, we didn't have functioning municipal corporations. The officials were reporting directly to the state government.
Actually, right? Maharashtra has better devolution in some ways than other states does. Mumbai, for example, had even a concept called mayor in council. So Mumbai and Maharashtra have been more experimental with devolution. But this is, as I said, this is not unique to Maharashtra. This is a national issue which cuts across parties. I don't see a single opposition state run state which is devolving powers. I don't see a single any part. And in my opinion,
I'm not very concerned about what other states are doing. I'm going to be very narrow-minded here because I'm a Mumbaikar and Maharashtra.
But you can't. But the problem is that that's what I'm saying. I think you're focusing on.
But we have governments that are the BJP, Shiv Sena, NCP coalition at all three levels. So if a state, I mean, how ready is your party to do something about, an elected mayor?
Again, I'll tell you. So
and it's so interesting. Your father was mayor of Bombay at one point.
So my experience is that regardless of party, ruling alliance in Maharashtra, opposition, other states, parties that are running other states, everyone I've spoken to likes the idea of devolution, understands that it's a useful idea. It hasn't happened for several reasons. I think one reason is it's not on anybody's radar. It's not that political parties are averse to it.
I think there's too much at stake.
I'll tell you. One is people are
70,000 crore rupee BMC budget.
That's not the point. People want to improve governance. People want to improve governance because what has happened is, I'll tell you, states now, the good thing is that states are facing competition from other states to improve their infrastructure, to attract investments. The interstate competition in India is very healthy. It's as healthy as it is, let's say, in a country like the United States. What is not healthy and doesn't exist is intercity competition, which exists in US and in China. And as I said in Parliament, the reason the US and China have outperformed other countries is not only because of interstate competition, it's because of intercity competition. Number one, I don't think any state government, regardless of which party it's run by, has understood the potential of how effective intercity competition can be. So if, for example,
and the positive impact
if
that can
Amravati is competing against Vizag in Andhra, what that can do to Andhra Pradesh's economy. If Mumbai is competing against Nasik, what that can do to the economy and how that can allow Maharashtra to compete against Andhra. That's not been realized. Secondly, you need it to become an electoral issue. You need devolution, just like it was in 1993 when it was passed in Parliament, to become a local issue. So if the citizen, you and I, as citizens, realize that cities in India, whether we live in Mumbai, whether your viewers who are watching this are living in Chennai, realize that cities cannot be governed unless there's devolution of powers. And we want to make this an electoral issue. I don't see it happening as quickly as it should happen.
Do you have buy-in in your party?
I think my party is very open to the idea because my party, mind you, is a very urban party.
Absolutely.
And Mr. Shinde is a very, he's come from an urban background.
Absolutely.
Of course, he's come from a rural background, but he's run
his politics
the city.
And his
he understands
Thane,
the pressures on a city like Thane. And Thane today is no longer just some small suburb of Mumbai. It's a big municipal corporation. So he understands this very quickly. Devendra Fadnavis, who is from Nagpur, understands this very quickly. So in fact, I'm more hopeful that their leadership is open to this idea than others who may not understand the challenges that urban areas face. But as I said, this needs to become a talking point.
So here's the thing. If it is to be a talking point, if people have to buy in and it has to become an electoral issue, it actually could if enough people and enough politicians talk about it. But what we've noticed, Milind, in your career in politics, like you said, I think you were elected as Lok Sabha MP for Mumbai South in 2004.
Yes.
So you've seen politics up close for almost 20 years. And Maharashtra politics, it has changed dramatically since 2019. And again, you're seeing up close those changes. We are speaking almost about a fortnight after, 6 Shiv Sena UBT MPs defect to your Shiv Sena, right? Mr. Shinde's Shiv Sena. Now, this kind of constant fluidity and political shoring up of power and consolidation, I don't think it's a wrong thing. If you want to have some weight politically, you've got to do what it takes. But the point is governance, and has governance, especially in Maharashtra and in Mumbai, been a casualty or taken a beating because of these political compulsions?
So the proof is in the pudding, right? I took 10 years, spent 10 years trying to convince my former party to implement the Navi Mumbai airport, to implement the Trans-Harbour Sea Link, which is called the Atal Setu today, the metro. Zero political will. Not just zero political will, bickering between state government, central government, bickering within the party, one faction saying, let's do it, good for the city, state, country. Another saying, I'm going to revoke environmental clearances, I'm going to put a spoke in the wheel. I don't see that at all here. I see complete clarity when it comes to Mumbai and Maharashtra, that we have to compete effectively, we have to shore up the city's infrastructure, and which is why you've seen the infrastructure you see today. The Mumbai metro, the Atal Setu, the Navi Mumbai airport, the coastal road have happened under the watch of Eknath Shinde and Devendra Fadnavis. They haven't happened under the watch of previous chief ministers. So, to answer your question, I see the exact opposite. I see a much greater focus on improving Mumbai's governance, on improving Mumbai's infrastructure, a much greater focus on improving Maharashtra's governance, on improving Maharashtra's infrastructure, and keeping the state ready to compete. And I also see far greater coordination between the center and the state in getting things done. I don't see this one-upmanship where the state wants this and I'm going to scuttle it from behind. That was happening, unfortunately, in the past, which is why nothing happened. These projects should have happened, frankly, 20 years ago. They should have happened 30 years ago. If you look at my manifesto in 2004, if you look at my following up in 2005, 2008, as a shipping minister in 2011, I gave
When were you IT and communication?
And also shipping.
Were you the youngest minister then?
I was probably the youngest. And I gave JNPT clearance as a shipping minister for the Atal Setu project. Just zero political will to do it. No interest. So that was a very serious issue, which I think hurt Mumbai's growth for a long, long time. And I don't see that at all today. I see that there's complete clarity that, what I like about this system is, whether it's Mr. Eknath Shinde or even Mr. Fadnavis, who was chief minister earlier, then he was deputy chief minister when Eknath Shinde was chief minister, is there's a very clear focus that, we are facing severe competition. There's competition from Tamil Nadu, which is attracting industries. There's competition from Telangana. There's competition from Andhra now under Chandrababu Naidu. That's making Amravati an important capital. There's competition from Gujarat. There's competition from other states. There's competition even from UP as a state. And we have to get our act together. I didn't see that in the past. So
you're saying
my view is
political fluidity and this fragmentation of parties and everything.
I don't see it affecting governance at all.
Affecting governance
not
at
all. Not affecting governance in the least. Is it affecting politics of the state? Perhaps. That's a political conversation.
Which we should do at some point.
But there's no question in my mind that, and as I said, the proof is in the pudding. You would not be driving on the coastal road if it weren't for the NDA government in charge. You would not be I would not, for instance. I take the metro when I land, when I'm in Delhi for Parliament. I land and my office, right outside my office, there's a metro station, literally in my building. I take the metro from the airport to my office. I take the metro from my office to the airport. I would not be doing those things if it was not for this government.
So, I mean, yes, the metro has been good, and Aqualine 3 is what I'm familiar with, the latest one. But what we are also noticing, and this is a charge that people make, you may or may not accept it, and that is that, the city has changed its working class nature, and a nature which your political legacy, the one you have got from Mr. Milind Deora, is very different, right? The working class of this city, the people who made Mumbai. And there is a sense now, the big infra projects and all of this. So you're creating the coastal road so I can zip from Malabar to Bandra. But people in between, your last mile, the pavements, the buses, BEST buses, we now have private buses that are available. Why is there this pruning down, this pruning of very valuable brands and assets that Mumbai had as a city? And is the working class Mumbaikar getting shafted in this Mahalakshmi redevelopment, convention center? I mean, we had this case of people getting together to save a football field in Mumbai. There is a feeling that builders are running this city.
I've heard this builder thing
for years.
For 30 years.
I know, but
the fact is, when you say is the working class or the people who built Mumbai, if you ask, for example, a Girni Kamgar, he feels more empowered today than he did 20 years ago.
Is the Girni Kamgar still in the city?
But those who are in the city or those whose families are here are getting homes. If you ask somebody who's living in a chawl, let's say in the Girangaon area of Mumbai, who really built this city, whose grandfather contributed to the textile mills, he's finally seeing that he can get a home through a cluster redevelopment scheme. Now, whether a private builder is doing it, whether Mahada is doing it, whether SRA is doing it, that's a separate issue. That's a public-private partnership which goes back 30 years. Is it perfect? No. But has it been effective for Mumbai? Yes, it has. That's why this government is getting elected. That's why this government won a historic mandate. So, I don't see that. I think maybe there are certain sections which are a little more elite that might feel that this government is not for them. That's the feedback I get.
I mean,
I would say the masses
walk in Dadar, in Matunga, in Badala, in Vikhroli, Vasai Vihar, MMR, you go beyond the BMC, which is also part of where your party is in power, like Thane, of course, and you will see how painful the average working class person's life is, and
those are not issues, I think, which relate to any party. Those are issues which, as I said, we have to deliver for them. I think the difference is, Anuradha, to be very candid, I think we should not confuse the two things. I think, so firstly, going back to Congress, there was a Congress which was very development oriented. Then there was a Congress which became very far left.
Dr. Manmohan Singh had said Mumbai should become
Manmohan Singh, for example, the Manmohan Singh Congress, the Milind Deora Congress was very development oriented. Was let's create homes for the poor. Let's, even if it means a private developer, there's a public-private partnership, let's find a way to do it. Let's get good infrastructure projects. Let's make Mumbai world class. That was the aspirational Congress, and it applied nationally as well. The Congress then became a very leftist party, and then it became a party which got into a section which, in my opinion, is a dying section in the country, and which also contributed and has contributed to its decline, which is just oppose for the sake of opposing. So if there's an infrastructure project, just oppose it. If there's something good happening for the country, oppose it. It was a far left strain that got in. I saw it happening before my own eyes. I saw the Manmohan Singh's vision, which, a simple thing, celebrating 25 years of economic reforms in 2016. I was in the Congress, should have done it in a grand way.
Yeah, of course.
Absolutely,
it changed my life.
Absolutely no interest in wanting to do that. Today, I don't see that. Today, at a local level in Mumbai, in Maharashtra, in India, I see clarity that, if you want to alleviate poverty, if you want the working class, the middle class, the poor, the farmer to genuinely get empowered, you are not going to do that by showcasing poverty,
No,
a
of course
leftist
not.
vision. That doesn't mean there's a right-wing vision. That means that you have to address their aspirations. You have to allow people to be part of the mainstream. And I'm encouraged by that, because I don't think that sitting and saying let's oppose everything that happens is a good strategy. Then India loses, China gains, someone else gains. I think we have to find a balance where you grow as a country, you take as many people along, you have to factor for the environment. In some cases, when you're trying to find that balance may not be perfect. But is the solution saying sit back and do nothing and oppose everything? That's not a politics I ever signed up for. And so my father, a person like Dr. Manmohan Singh, was a mentor to me. I've had multiple conversations with even a man like Dr. Manmohan Singh as Prime Minister, before he became Prime Minister, when he demitted office as Prime Minister. Very clear vision that if India does not move forward, if state governments and state leaders do not move forward on the path of progress and development, and if we don't get out of this opposing for the sake of opposing, India will lose. And it's a very serious problem for India.
Absolutely.
Because there's very serious competition globally. You have a Bangladesh on your border, which is industrializing quickly. You have a Vietnam not very far from you. You have, of course, China on your border. So when you ask
You're
me
saying
those,
that this is what we are talking about
I actually have a very different view from you on those things. I think
sure.
that Mumbai, Maharashtra, India's working class, the poor, they are seeing there's greater resonance with NDA locally and nationally with that section, because they are seeing that this is addressing aspirations. And I think they are seeing that certain other sections, other parties, are just taking them on the path of opposing for the sake of opposing. It doesn't get anyone anywhere, frankly.
Milind, I'm going to, you talked about the Congress and that was your past. Today in the Shiv Sena, you're in the Rajya Sabha. You contested for the assembly election here in Maharashtra.
Yes.
Are you missing being, elected by the people? I mean, you were two-term MP, if I remember right.
But so to answer your question, I'm very much, so a Rajya Sabha MP is obviously very different from a Lok Sabha MP. Rajya Sabha MP technically represents all of Maharashtra.
Yes.
But I still operate very much as a Mumbai MP. I still, use my public funds for the people of Mumbai and South Mumbai. A large chunk of the people who meet me every day continue to be from South Mumbai. The projects that I kind of focus on, and not because I don't have an understanding of what rural Maharashtra or rural India needs.
But this is your strength, right?
But because I know urban India better, I understand urban India's problems and its solutions. So my focus is still around urban India, around Mumbai, around South Mumbai. So
the best part of Mumbai for people who don't know.
So my focus is still, I still operate more as a Lok Sabha MP than a Rajya Sabha MP.
So 29?
Yes, when you go to Parliament, then as a Parliament, of course, you can't raise just issues relating to your constituency. You have to raise national.
And you were on that multi-party delegation, right? After Operation Sindoor, that one of the multi-party delegations that was sent to.
It was part of Operation Sindoor.
Do you feel fully optimally used as a Rajya Sabha MP?
I do feel very optimally used. I think that.
But would you like to contest in 2029? I mean, we can do many more conversations between now and then.
Very much so. Very much so. Certainly, that's my focus. But Lok Sabha elections are now 3 years away. 3 years is a very long time in politics.
No.
But my focus is certainly, look, I still have my family's relation with this constituency goes back to 1968 when my father fought his first corporation election from Chandanwadi right down the road. And he became a corporator for a few times. He became the mayor of Mumbai. He went on to become a state legislator. Then he fought for MP election. So our relation with this constituency, and frankly even with the people of Mumbai, from all the way from Borivali to South Mumbai, really transcends politics. on a day where people know Milind is in office, whether I'm in power, not in power, whether
People
I'm an
reach out to
MP,
you.
whether I'm an ex-MP, whether my party is in power, whether my party is not in power, there are more people that will come to my office than they would go to the Lok Sabha MP's office.
Arvind Savant.
I mean, not just in South Mumbai, even in other parts of Mumbai. That's the relationship we have. It transcends politics. If we do charitable work where we're doing an eye checkup, an eye camp, we're doing something else, it's very much based on a relationship that transcends politics.
Actually, there is a sense I have, and this is, I don't know if other people have it, but I have this sense of somehow in Maharashtra and Mumbai's political class not really being connected to everyday woes, and we are seeing how social media teams and camera, everybody today has a camera and reels. You had Mayor Ritu Taude, famously on Twitter now telling people to not stand on Marine Drive with two poor cops behind her who should have been doing their job elsewhere. So what I'm trying to say is there is a reality check, illegal hoardings. Shiv Sena, one of the worst offenders, if I may say so directly to you, all over the city.
Every party has. Every party, I wouldn't say I wouldn't agree with that.
But I said one of the worst offenders.
I mean, every party has people, karyakartas, who do that. It's something which I personally believe that should come to an end. The good thing is...
they're hazardous,
Yeah, the good thing is sometimes I do see political parties, especially my party, when there are big events, where we put legal hoardings. You buy the hoardings and you put them up. But I do agree, it's not that leaders are encouraging this. People do it. People put it up.
Yeah, but leaders have to crack down on it. That's what
They
I
do.
mean. Because you do have that power,
there's
right?
scope for improvement. I'll accept that. In all parties.
And not just illegal hoardings, traffic. I mean, again, when we were much younger here, I remember a traffic cop called Mr. Pasricha. Dr. Pasricha. Bombay's traffic and the way it used to run was supposed to be like a model for the rest of the country. Today, Bombay is like any town anywhere. Wrong side driving, U-turns anywhere. I mean, we know. I don't have to keep saying this.
Can I tell you with due respect?
I mean, I can go on.
No, with due respect, I think, look, to be honest with you, as I say this as a citizen first, not as a politician, to be fair, things have improved also. Let me give you an example. Today you have a situation where, let's say you're talking about errand drivers on the road. Yes, I remember myself when I was 18, 19, 20 and I would drive the streets of Mumbai. People would just drive at any speed, they would cut you, they would do anything. Today, the fact that you can get an e-challan without even knowing it. Sometimes, I don't know, I get an e-challan for my car because I took a turn when the light may have been, had just turned red or those kinds of issues. Someone is speeding. You have in many ways, systems have also improved. Policing in Mumbai has improved. Today, when you talk of an issue, let's say of law and order, let's be honest, today there hasn't been a single terror attack in a city like Mumbai in the last 12 years. It's remarkable and it's a great thing. No, there was a time where you had, if you were a person who was commuting by train, you were afraid that a bag in that train or in the metro could be an explosive and you'll lose your... You'll die. So those are things where there are systems. So I think it's easy to crib and say things are getting worse. I don't agree with that.
You think in 2026, the Mumbai you inhabit is a better Mumbai
I think, for instance, I'm not saying public transportation is amazing. People still have to crowd in trains.
Oh my God.
I'm saying that when you have projects like metro, which unfortunately when people keep opposing those projects, then how will you solve those problems? You can't have both, right? You can't say, I'm going to oppose everything, but infrastructure must improve. How will it improve? You have to have projects to reduce the burden on trains. The metro is designed to reduce the burden and the congestion on trains. If you don't allow for those projects, you go to court, you write letters, you just want to be an activist and oppose everything. How will you allow that? How will you decongest? Then you're just encouraging poverty. Today, for example, the coastal road has reduced traffic to a large extent. It has reduced traffic. You now have a new arterial road, traffic that is going, let's say, from South Mumbai to the suburbs and it's going to eventually extend to Juhu and to Virar. So if you want to commute from Mumbai to Virar by road, you don't have to cut through the inner lanes of Mumbai. You just go on the coastal road. You're not coming in anybody's way. You will see traffic reduce. Today, the state government is toying with the idea of using the waterways. Now, I'm sure once that project's underway, somebody will oppose it. Somebody will write an open letter. Somebody will say it's bad. It's going to do this. It's going to do that. But there are things happening. Projects are seeing the light of day. You're seeing projects get implemented. I think things are looking better in many ways for Mumbai. We are seeing world-class infrastructure. Every single person who comes from New Delhi, other cities to Mumbai, they all say things have improved radically in this city.
That's if they come out of the airport and either take the metro into town or take the coastal road into town.
Do we need to improve governance? Do we need to ensure that inner roads also improve? Yes, we do. For example, let me give an instance. For the last 20 years, you would continuously see a pothole problem. Year after year, you would see after the monsoons, I would see it on Marine Drive, that you would see massive potholes, khaddas, craters. You had to drive around. I'm not saying it's perfect. I'm not going to say that we've solved the problem. But have things improved?
You won't be able to say that.
I will not say that. But are things improving? I would say yes, they are improving. Okay. Is there a focus towards improving them? Yes, there is. Is it a perfect solution? Maybe not. But it's become an issue. It's become an electoral issue. Politicians are at least finally responding. I don't have such a negative view on Mumbai. I think Mumbai is improving. There's a lot more to be done. There's a lot more we need to fix in terms of urban governance. I don't deny that. We need to put greater pressure on the administration. We need to have political leadership at a local level that has executive powers and has accountability. We need to do those things. I'm going to fight for those things for the rest of my tenure.
You keep talking about these things.
I will continue to fight at my level for those things. I will try to keep convincing the powers that be to do those things. But to say things are getting worse, things are not improving, I would not agree with that.
Good luck to you, Milind, because I think on what we want for Mumbai in terms of a better Mumbai, we are all on the same page, right? Some of the methods to get there may be different, but as long as you are also open to listening to people, because the power to execute is with the government, right?
Absolutely.
So thank you, Milind. I wish you a lot of good luck.
Thank you.
We'll keep talking.
Absolutely. Look forward to that.